ancestors told. Rebirthology, limitless living. Mind meets mystic, soul keeps winning. Limitless, 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 limitless. Rebirthology, where soul remembers how to be.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am excited to open up this new year of 2026 with you, and in some cases for you. I'm going to do one little edit here. I added I added Facebook, but I added the wrong word. So let me fix that. Okay. All right. So, welcome, welcome, welcome to Rebirth Sunday of 2026. And I am affectionately known as the Rev Coach, the Juicy Spirit Mama, the Priestess of Purpose, Pleasure, Passion, and Profits. The mama to some and big sister to others, but always a friend, always a sister in love. And I am Reverend Dr. Latanya Taylor, and I'm so grateful to be here. I'm thrown off a little bit about how they've added this new feature, and every time you come back to technology, it's something new, it's something different. So I have something I want to share, because in the tribe, everyone is gathered right now on Zoom, in the Zoom room, and they're loading up. They're meditating, praying, and maybe they're listening to some music. And so I want to preload for those of you who are on other platforms that are joining in today, and hopefully you will get something from this message. And as I preload, I want to share my screen with you really quickly, just to set this up, because they're going to be joining in as well in just a moment, in the Zoom room. And you're welcome. If you are watching on Facebook, the link is on my last post to join us on Zoom. But and if you are already from the tribe, in the tribe, and you are joining, welcome to those of you who are in the portal, who have been in the tribe. We are opening this year together. What an honor to do this. What an honor to serve you in this way. So I want to add this to open up this space really quickly, okay? As just a precursor for our talk today, our transmission today. So listen to this. You remember this?
To know what it is. The matrix is everywhere. It is all around us. Even now, in this very room. You can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. What truth? That you are a slave, Neo. Like everyone else, you were born into bondage, born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch. A prison for your mind. Unfortunately, no one can be told what the Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself.
keep that in mind. You have to see it for yourself.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
And there we will open our space. I know this is one of my favorite movies, not just because of the mysticism in it, but it's so layered. I've always loved it. I can always watch it. I always see something else. And I want to just welcome you again, particularly for those of you who are just loading in. If you're in the comments, say something. Let us know that you are here. In many ways, many of you on Facebook have been an extended tribe, but of course, those of you who are new here, it is also going to be an experience for you, especially if you've never fully watched me. I've been doing Rebirth Sunday for, I think, 10 years now. In many ways, I've done it in obscurity. It's been a boutique ministry in many ways to just those who were in programs with me. It started off to support them in maintaining their journey, and particularly with an uncommon calling that I've had to be in it, but not of it, not just in the world, but not of it, but to be in church, in proximity to church, mosque, Elay, all of it. But at times, I won't say Elay so much because that came into another part of my life, but let's just say consciousness, to be in it and not of it. I'm not churchy like that. My mother never conditioned me to be churchy like that. But I'm also no longer Catholic. I recovered. I'm a recovering Catholic. I've been Muslim, but I've been able to expand my territory beyond that. I've traveled through other paths, explored other paths on my journey, and I wasn't looking for it. That wasn't what I intended to do. It's taken me a long time to get to a place of embodiment that feels good to me. And so you will hear some translation of things that maybe you can relate to or maybe you can't. For some people who are still afraid and think that everything that should be questioned is blasphemous, go on and scroll past me now, because this year will be a new expression for me and for you if you accept the manna of this message today. I pray that you will. So as we look at this energy, I want to open the space to say that this year has already been talked about as a 1 year. New beginnings year, new chapter, all of that. And some of you even know that this is a new era that we've entered in, that the last 9 years that we've gone through and experienced together have been unique, but there also have been some prophetic unfolding that has happened. And those of you who've known the prophecy, you haven't been as rattled as those who have not known the prophecy. Those of you who have been giving the prophecy, you certainly have not been as rattled because you are a man or woman before your time. And there are those that we owe so much to that have been the Noahs that told us to build a ship and prepare for a flood that was coming. I just want to honor those who have gone on: Dr. Delbert Blair, Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, Dr. Ben. Oh my God, the doctors that have come. that the professors that have spoken, the ones who came up from amongst us, Bobby Hemmett, okay, like can we just go on and on? But it could have been your grandmother. It was your grandmother who told you that you were Indian, but we thought we just had a little Indian in us. It was your grandmother who told you to rub this or that on the baby's chest, or maybe it was your chest. It was something that was in our bloodline that was preparing us for a time and a season as this. And so I bring to you what Spirit revealed to me at the last hour in the 9 vibrational year, kind of like a 9 energy will do. It came at the last moment, and I kept saying, Spirit, what is it that you want to carry the year? And she said, becoming the one. Your spiritual gifts are calling. This 2026 is not just a year, it is a code. It is a communication. And it is a calling. I want you to get that. Somebody put that in the comments for somebody who needs to hear it and see it visually. A code, a communication, and a calling. This year holds the 10-1 vibration. And so today we're not just rushing to the 1 of new beginnings while skipping over the divine intelligence of the 10. Because see, 9 holds the energy of all of the numbers. If you're a life path 9, you really want to come in a little close. Because sometimes the delay that is not a denial is not your delay. 9s, those of us who are still working with the 9 energy. Because see, the immaturity always bypasses the womb to get to the crown of being the one. But that's ego. That's not anointing. But maturity understands nothing new is born without going through the heart. And that's what the 10 energy brings to us. We're going to unpack the 10 codex in a minute. Today, we're setting the atmosphere to access our own divine combination, because yes, there is a 10-1 energy in the collective consciousness, but you hold a code. We're setting the atmosphere to unlock what this year is communicating to us personally. If you're not hearing, then there's some deeper work that needs to be done. If you're just on automatic, if you're just moving through going through the motions. And we're setting the atmosphere all year to answer the call to become the one. Can we unpack the 10 codex for a minute? The 10-1 codex is easy to just reduce to the singularity, because that's what we're taught in numerology. That's what you hear. And those of you who say, I don't do all that. If it ain't Jesus, I don't want it. Well, it is Jesus, because he was the one. He became the one. It is Buddha. It is Muhammad. It is Martin Luther. It is whoever you want to put in the category of being a savior. But what about putting yourself in that category? But it's not about doing it for applause. It's not about being a psych op. It's none of that. The 0 matters in numbers. We grew up being taught, mistaught, that the 0 has no value. Come on, somebody, talk to me in the comments. Am I lying or am I flying? Weren't you taught that the 0 has no value, just like me? Or was I the only one who went to Catholic school and was told that the 0 has no value? But isn't it ironic that the 0 is the primordial womb, the womb of the ancient mother who has been removed from all of the texts, that there is an erasure of the divine feminine presence in scripture, in theology, in your studies. We've had to call her in. Well, she came in strong. She's coming in. She's speaking through nature. She's speaking through so many codes. The zero has value. Isn't it ironic that they told us that the zero has no value, but yet you had to go to work? I want to stay here on this zero for a minute. And you wanted to get more zeros behind your paycheck? So they lied to us. But what else have we been lied to? They told you that the zero has no value, but let you bring a zero home on your paper. Let the teacher tell your mama that you got a zero. In fact, if you get too many zeros, because I was a teacher, by the way, I did it for a little while. and when you do the averages, even as the teacher, a zero affects your average tremendously, brings it down. So let a student get too many zeros. What are you going to do? You're going to come home with what? An F, a fail. So the zero has no value. They lied to you in math. They lied to you in English. They lied to us. This is a red pill or blue pill conversation. Again, I say to you, if you want the blue pill, keep on scrolling, go back to sleep and pretend like you never heard this. But those of you who are on the red pill, just go on and drop a red pill or pill in the comments, or drop something the color red in the comments to let me know that you're picking up what I'm putting down. And oftentimes as women, we've thought that we haven't had any value unless we find the one. I'm looking for the one to give me value as a woman. I need the one, my one. How many of us as women have watched our mothers or heard our mothers telling us that we need to be picked, we need to be chosen? And now you have a generation of women who are saying, they're calling you pick-me's if you want to be in a relationship now. Pick me, I'm not male-centered. But here's the tricknology of it all. The 10 tells a deeper truth. Because the 1 and the 10 together is co-creation. There is cooperation. The primordial womb and the phallic symbol of the 1 enter each other and co-create. Yes, I did this. It is a codex of creation. Co-creation. So this feminine talk of just zero, just be zero. Now, there is some conversations we can have in our sacred containers about parthenogenesis, but that's a real grown conversation because the zero and parthenogenesis has a relationship. But let's talk about the 0 and the 1. The 10 represents matters of the heart. It's heart. It's about heart. It's about courage. It's about matters of the heart. It's about what you've hidden in your heart. The 1 and the 0, it also energetically represents yin and yang energy in the right relationship. Not too much yin, that's the 1. Not too much yang, that's the 0. It's giving and receiving energy. That's what this 10 is. And most importantly, the 0 is not empty. It cannot be ignored. It is source code. The 1 and 0s are codes that are used to run computers. Those who do programming and coding, you know this. So this is a technological conversation in the age of Aquarius, where Aquarius represents the future of AI and advanced intelligence. It's a codex. It's a source code. Like the primordial womb, the zero is infinite potentials. It is sacred darkness or shadow work that is required. In other words, sis, you can't be afraid of the dark feminine. We've spent so much time saying that the dark masculine is toxic masculinity. We equate darkness with toxicity, and that is a part of the old program, that anything that is associated with darkness, with the dark levels of the womb, that is negative, so that you won't be reborn. Nicodemus said, shall I re-enter into my mother's womb and be born again? Shall I re-enter? And I remember when Reverend Rash in Cool Springs Baptist Church up in Mississippi, Kings, Mississippi, used to talk about Nicodemus and the dry bones in the valley. But I'm not there yet. Don't get me going, because it's time for us to grow up, even beyond just a hoop and a feel good. The one without the zero becomes ego. Ooh, I want you to get that. Did you hear what I said? The one without zero becomes ego. It's singularity has been the rule of the Piscean age in many ways. It's been about the masculine, toxic masculine, patriarchy. Ego representing easing God out. The one birthed from the zero becomes authority. The one comes from the zero. That's where I was talking about parthenogenesis, but we're not going to, you just look it up on your own time. But you know, when we talk about that superwoman story, the Amazonian woman, that's parthenogenesis, but we're going to keep going. You got to come in sacred containers, because everything ain't for everybody out here in these internet streets. Ones and zeros are more than even a computer code. They are the language of the universe of creation. Becoming the one is a mantle, not just a title. Becoming the one is not about superiority, not even in feminine technology. It's not that I'm better than. It's about assignment. You were born coded and consecrated for a time and a season such as this. You were born coded and consecrated to be, to do, to have what you can carry. And I want to say what only you can carry. And this is where your spiritual gifts enter in. There's been so much copycatting and envy and jealousy in these internet streets, so much competition, one-upsmanship in sister circles, and young women who want to, and listen, even me, Lord, because we're having a new conversation, a new energy is moving on the planet, where social media is providing a peep into the lives of others that makes us sometimes look at ourselves and makes us reevaluate. It's some great things that have happened with technology, but just like anything, too much of anything becomes a not so good. And so you don't throw stones at glass houses, because all of us have a glass house that we're living in. If somebody's looking in your window, behind your doors, under your beds, what will they see? While you out here being entertained, it's entertainment season, and our gifts are the road to entertainment. And yes, many are called and few choose to answer, but this path that I'm speaking of demands a little bit of self-sacrifice, of the ego, of the DIY, of something to prove, of competing. So it's not okay to just hear somebody else talk about some, go and attend their training, and then you go hang out a shingle, but you haven't done the work to even access the codes fully. It's not okay for elders who taught us to only keep us in as students. It's not okay for us to go back, and because I see it on these in these streets. I work with women who are millennials, Gen Zers, and they're angry as hell with Gen Xers and boomers. And then, you know, we've been so shut down that we didn't even access the wisdom that many of those in the silent generation that have gone on, they were silent for a reason. Some of the reasons we want to attribute to oppression, but that's not all. Some of them didn't want to fight anymore. Some of them gave up our birthrights, and they couldn't tell you that they gave up our birthrights. That's another conversation when we talk about genealogy. And yes, there has to be also that this path demands a death of lack consciousness. We're going to have more time with ourselves because so many things are changing so quickly with AI. And some people are some of y'all fighting to be workers. Do you know that work is a new idea? Work in the way of 9 to 5 is new. We had our own farms. We had our own economy. We grew our own food. We exchanged goods. We've always been people who lived from the land. It was not about work, but it was about production. It was about sustainability. This path demands freedom from chronic religious addiction. And you will see gatekeepers of these old systems exposed more and more. Some of them look like us, but they are not us. Some of them are sitting in offices and they say that they are for us, but they are not for us. And the exposure, every exposure, you cannot be talking about party language. We gotta grow up and look at everything. This path demands the courage to confront the brutal family pathology. And I said brutal. It may things that you have been shut down from, and the way you may not use your voice, and even me, Lord, I'm not exempt. The self-protection, the isolation, the ways that we have become so disassociated from our family because of the pathology. The secrets in order to become the one. Oftentimes, when you are becoming the one, it is the very people in your bloodline who cannot even see or hear you unless you make a whole lot of money and you can do something for them. Am I lying or am I flying? Who am I talking to? Unless you can do something for them, they can't hear you. When you already are in your becoming phase, when you stop eating pork, when you go natural, when you want to know the ingredients of food. I am not talking about extreme vegans. I'm just talking about waking up. And it's your family that you want to convince. And they're the very ones who will become your stumbling posts if you cannot. It's your initiation. Being able to move out beyond the locks and blocks of family is the initiation, but that doesn't mean that we have to abandon, judge, and look back at them with our nose turned up. A part of becoming the one is softening our heart to understand why we are who we are. Not just stay and lay on the pain body and tell the pain story. The slave narrative is already in question, because anything that your enemy gave to you, you cannot. This is why some of us are fighting. They're trying to take history out of the schools. They don't need his story. We need your story, our story. Even school and education is new. We educated, the mothers taught, or if it wasn't the mothers, it was somebody in the community, in the tribe. Somebody taught school, somebody baked bread, somebody did something else. Even the educational system is a psych op that directly connects to the industry that we now know, the industrial industry. So little by little, we're getting back to basics, some of it by force, not by choice. I didn't intend to go there. Let me keep going. Many in our family, many in our friendship circles, many in the high school we went to, we have classmates who are becoming the one, and they don't know nothing about this. They took the blue pill, they went back to sleep, and they ain't interested in this. And it's okay. The blue pill represents comfort, denial, spiritual sedation, and even being under a spell. Becoming the one on the red pill journey is about breaking the spells, but first you got to break them off yourself. And then there's another layer and another layer, awakening after awakening, layer after layer, scale after scale. So the year of the 9 was about shedding the layers in the scale, the year of the snake. Removing the scale from the eyes. Remember the Matrix? When Neo goes to the Oracle to confirm who he is and she does not tell him? Come on now, talk to me. Y'all remember that scene? We go, there's times, sometimes I go to my spiritual mentor and I want her to say more because I know she can see, or I know he can see, or whatever. But it may not be for her or him to say at that time. That's wisdom. That's somebody that's been through. They know when to speak and when not to. But not only that, initiations require some assimilation, some integration. You have to do this. It's on you. My light went off. I'm going to turn it back on so you can see me. The light, we're going to keep the light going. Turn the light up, not off. Okay? Stay with it. Somebody say, stay with it, stay with it. Whew. This message was not an easy one to come to. I know that sometimes it looks easy, but last year for me was a year of elevation to elevation. Can I pause right now and just talk to you from my heart too, from me? Thank you. I'm staying with it. I'm staying with it. I went from elevation. I came into the year with an honorary doctorate degree. Literally got it on December 30th, I believe. Came into the new year, received a presidential award. Was appointed to provost the year before, but was fully into shaping the semester, doing deep investigation, SWOT analysis of the institution, things that needed to change, things I inherited that were broke, that I didn't break, but I needed to fix and create solutions for. I was in another level of my assignment all year. And of course, before the year ended, I was able to take the 11 years that my husband and I had been together. We had never had a ceremony. We had never celebrated with a wedding. And so we went to the next level of even that. So I went from elevation to elevation to elevation. Now I'm a 9, a life path 9. In a 9 year. That's why I was talking to the 9s earlier, because sometimes 9s have delayed responses. Not only are sometimes the things that we go for are delayed, but sometimes we have delayed responses and reactions. And so by the 12th month of December, and I'd been traveling, and I just kept saying, I just want to be still. Well, in my stillness, things started to come up that needed to shed from me. Let me say this real quick. Nothing has to be wrong in order for you to evaluate or go into a place where things will come up. Do you know that feel good can make room for healing the things that don't feel good? Many of us have been given a pain body model to God. We run to the altar crying. We walk away crying. We shame and guilt ourselves and should on ourselves about what we need to do in order to earn God's love. That's the traditional model, the paradigm that is dying, because it is a lie too. And I said that. But it takes a long time to shed that indoctrination, even from our culture and from our families. So the first time and the first sign of when something wasn't right, I can easily go into, well, what am I doing wrong? Why am I feeling like this? And then after you get through all of that and go deeper and deeper, well, I should say deeper and deeper and deeper. But sometimes going deeper and deeper and deeper is elevating you up mentally, but what's happening is you got to go deeper and deeper and deeper here. So it looks like this sometimes, waves. And I didn't even really know until it came time to prepare this sermon that I was being prepared to be able to stand in the gift and the calling that I have, and to stand in it more powerfully. I can't tell you how many years I have edited myself because I didn't want to be too deep. I wanted to be a bridge. When I was going through ordination, Spirit told me that I would be the bridge for the stone that the builders rejected, that I would be a bridge for people who took the blue pill, to be able to come over to red, not be afraid to take the red pill. I think I relieved myself from that responsibility a few years ago because it was a heavy cross to carry to do that. I was very altruistic, thinking that people want to wake up. People want to become the one. There are people who do not, and you can love them right where they are. Do you hear me? And even with that, I had to go deeper, still beyond even that, because this was not the preparation. Sometimes when you're carrying this word, this gift, when you're a person before your time, nobody is here. My husband sees it, but a lot of times someone else, they don't even know what you're experiencing unless they have taken their own red pill. So I'm not exempt. And it's time for us to lock arms with ministers of consciousness, of spiritual consciousness, not just consciousness, the red, black, and green, who come in to preach at you and to look down and tell you need to study. Yeah, you need to study and show yourself approved, but you don't need to be shamed by traditional. You don't need to be shamed by non-traditional. This is a process at times, but there is a quantum leap that is happening in humanity. We crossed a threshold on this hero's journey. The oracle did not tell the matrix who he was. He had to find out by walking the path, letting the path unfold as he walked it. Its perfection is not even required. It wasn't because Neo isn't the one, and Neo is a play on words that Neo actually means the one, not just neophyte. If you can look at neophyte, a neophyte even when you are pledging in a sorority or a fraternity crosses a threshold when you are finally initiated. We watch Neo do that and become the one. Identity is revealed, not announced. That is why we do readings. That is why we do workshops. That is why a transformation really does work. Becoming the one is a process, and it works when you work it. Some of us want microwave results when we have not learned the art of not being ourselves. So the question that I want to ask you in closing, as I give you these 3 points, what did you shed in the year of the snake? Before you can run into a new beginning, you must honor what ended. Let me tell you why as well. We use these references, but we oftentimes don't look at the whole thing. Technically speaking, the year of the snake does not end until February 17th. So that means energetically we're still shedding. And I see it as grace that January, February, and March is an opportunity for you to really prepare for the new year, the true new year, which is April 1st. March, some people even debate grace. So I propose to you the question, what did you shed in the year of the snake? Or what are you shedding? The year of the snake, the 9 vibration was about completion, about release, about letting go. It is the death before rebirth. See, everybody wants to be the butterfly, but forget that the butterfly had to go through a crystallization process. The butterfly had to change forms from being a caterpillar. It had to go into a cocooning process where it became liquid. The liquefaction process is a crystallization of forming into a thing that now has wings and color. So ask yourself, what fears surfaced for you? What triggers intensified? I'm telling you, I'm still working with that one. I wanted to know, why is this coming up? I know I did the work on this. Why is this coming up? I know better. Why is this coming up? I had to keep on asking myself, why is this presenting? I've done so much. I've been positioned for so much. Why is this little thing coming up in me? Because where you're going, you can't take it with you. And the last one, what fell apart even though you tried to hold it together? What fell apart? Sometimes the falling apart is truly the coming together. Those were not failures, they were extractions. Whatever collapse was either demanding a new version of you or covering your spiritual gifts that are required in this season of becoming. And while the Gregorian calendar changed, understand this, that the 9 snake energy really completes on February 17th. And the true new year is spring, I said. So what are your January and March focuses? What are you focusing on? Grace, grace to integrate, grace to rest. We're in the dead of winter. They call it the dead of winter for a reason. Integration, rest, recalibration, grace for your nervous system for what's coming, because the fire horse is quantum. It's a quantum jump, a fire horse. We're going to talk about that a little bit more. So number 2, try the what if path. Remember, we're in the month of January, which is faith. That's why I have on a little blue. Faith is governed by the disciple Peter. When we talk about disciple, we also talking about disciplines. The color is royal blue. The area of the body is the pineal gland. What part of your work is decalcifying your pineal gland? What is faith without fear for you? Choose the what if path. Abraham Hicks talks about what ifing. We are taught that a good stewardship means preparing for the worst. Abraham Hicks says, what if you what ifed the best, the positive outcome? I want to, especially mothers. You think that love is worry. You think that love is anxiety. Telling someone, I'm worried about you. That's not love. That's fear. So how many of us have called on fear? We don't trust the God in the thing that you birthed. Can you trust the God in the thing that you birthed? Mothers still emotionally and mentally carrying diaper bags for everybody else instead of a backpack for your own adventure. But this year, the Spirit is asking, what if it works? What if you are supported? What if your gifts actually do make room for you? I have been in so many situations where my gifts have made room for me. And when the moment that I got in the room, I started a little bit in the background saying, okay, don't mess this up. Make sure you do this right. Make sure you do that right. That's a worthiness or unworthiness conversation. So what if your gift makes room for you? You don't have to be arrogant in it, but can you stand in the room that has been made for you? We fight to get in so many rooms and so many tables. But when God opens a door for us, no man or woman can shut it. But mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, sometimes we can shut doors that God already opened for us. A backpack for your own adventure. Faith is not only believing God can rescue you. Aren't you tired of just needing rescue? I don't want a relationship with a God where I gotta always be rescued. Anybody who's ever been in Hurricane Katrina and had to evacuate you or been in situations like that, that ain't a good feeling always had. Do you want to keep reliving rescue? Do you know how much trauma is in the fabric of the babies that were born during Hurricane Katrina because of rescue? The trauma that never was treated for people, for babies who were treated as refugees in their own country. Faith is believing God can advance you. Number 3, I know you are going to some vision board parties and you're going to hear write the vision and make it plain. And that's true. But I want to add on, write the vision and make it plain without consulting your limitations. Habakkuk 2:2, even the 2 and the 2 is a code. The 2 and 2 of Habakkuk is a code. I'll talk about that later, but hear this clearly. Don't consult your limitations when writing your vision or speaking it for that matter. Why? Because how do you consult your limitations? We worry about the how. Well, how I'm going to do that? Now, a lot of that has a lot to do with your astrological sign. By the way, I would recommend that you do a little bit more study of yourself. This is the study of yourself and show yourself approved, because there's a remedy for some of our little quirks, that make us a little bit more analytical, the part of us that make us more of a risk taker. Some of us are more of a dreamers. This is why your spiritual gifts matter, because your way to visioning may be a little different. When applying for opportunities, for instance, in the federal government, they don't ask you for your wounds. They ask you for your knowledge, your skills, and your abilities. Remember KSAs? I don't know if they still have people that do the resumes that where they specialize. To see, I remember back in the day when you were trying to get a federal government job, you would go find somebody who knew how to build your KSA profile in your resume. And KSA resume writers helped you to get in the door, get the interview, get the phone call. They knew how to translate the essence of who you are, your knowledge, your skills and abilities into language. Sometimes we need someone else who can see you clearly to help you access the next door. So when you write the vision and make it plain, don't write it because you're trying to prove somebody wrong that spoke over your life, that spoke ill about you, that you're trying to prove your mama, your daddy that wasn't there, whoever wrong when they said you wasn't going to be nothing. Sometimes we just need to get with somebody, around somebody who can see us clearly, see our knowledge, skills, and ability, and willing to fill our love tank with the way we need it. With acts of service, words of affirmation, touch, whatever. Healthy touch, by the way. This is not the season of toxic DIY, hyper individualism. I'll do it all by myself spirituality. Run the other way for these young folks that's out here that are self-anointed and self-appointed, and they don't come from a lineage. You can't be the one without a lineage. Genealogy is more than just your physical bloodline. This is not just pleading the blood. When we plead the blood, we are doing alchemy with the cosmic bloodline, with nature. Y'all picking up what I'm putting down? I know I'm a little animated today. All of that died is dying in the year of the 9. The 10 is about cooperation, about community, about communication. Chaos is forcing us to talk, but not just talk. We can't just keep talking on our posts, talking as quote unquote content creators. We also have to listen. We have to have listening skills. Listening is an advanced skill. Observation is a science. Chaos is forcing us to cover one another. Don't think that the people in front with the microphones like me or somebody else doesn't need covering, but not toxic covering. Chaos is forcing us back into right relationship with one another. Even the fire horse, as fast and powerful as it is, serves humanity best when it is directed, not self-absorbed. See, the horse in astrology is represented by a Sagittarius, half man, half horse. And Sagittarius energy is a fire energy, ironically. Sagittarius is governed by the planet of Jupiter, which is expansion and luck. But the only way that the Sagittarian energy can get in the way is when they make it all about themselves, when they become selfish and self-absorbed. So even the fire horse, as fast as it moves, has to move on behalf of something bigger than itself. The invitation of the fire horse offers us the courage to unmute ourselves. It's not okay to say, well, they ain't gonna listen. Say it anyway. I'm gonna get in trouble. Say it anyway. You can't lose this something that's truly yours. The fire horse is inviting us to return to unapologetic passion, creative authority, embodied truth, and leadership that comes from alignment, not just adrenaline. We have become adrenaline junkies in church who want to run and dance and shout and then do what with it? I'm not criticizing the run, the dance, and the shout, because there's a science to that. There's an alchemy to that. This is why hoodoo has made such a comeback. Oh, the ring shout is powerful for conjure magic. This is not reckless fire. This is consecrated fire. The fire horse, the year of the fire horse. This principle of the month is represented by the color blue of water, but this energy that we're talking about is a fiery faith, the kind spoken in Hebrews 12:29, consuming fire. A fire that Luke 24:32 says that burns within us. Fiery faith moves. Fiery faith obeys. Fiery faith risks visibility. That's why Spirit wouldn't let me just be in obscurity. Now, let me close out. I know this is a little longer than normal, y'all. And those of you who are in the portal in Zoom, I have something that I want to share with you, the members in the Rebirth community, just for you. At about, shortly. I'm about to close out. The call and response. This is there is no calling without a response. Becoming the one is not about being chosen over others. It's about choosing to answer, choosing to walk out of the womb of potential, to carry your gifts with maturity, even through process, through mentorship, through cultivation, leaning on the wisdom of our elders. And I want to say that I know that there are so many spaces where our elders have broken our trust and misused their authority. But there are elders who are trying to make it right. Honor them. Be careful not to project onto them. And as I rise into more of the crone season of my life, I think about how much I projected my pain onto other people or was afraid to let them in because I had been so hurt and brokenhearted as a child. So that's the maturity responsibility. And let your life preach before your mouth does. That's, I will say, if there's anything that being trained by a master teacher who has a book out now, Spiritual Hygiene, I encourage you to go get, and she's doing, in that interview she did with Oprah, the Reverend Dr. Iyanla Vanzant, she has always taught us that we must be in alignment with what we teach before we hang out a shingle. Ironically, the zero has done its work. The womb has already spoken. The womb is speaking. The waters are rising on the planet. The ice wall is melting, revealing another civilization on the other side that they didn't want us to know about. There's talk of dragons being frozen. There's a lot of mysticism. There's energy happening in the sky, portals being opened, people videoing it and being able to speak on it. So the one must rise and grow up. You can't be afraid of everything. Everything that you've ever taught to fear, you ought to track it and trace it and dismantle it. The deconstruction is necessary before you build a new foundation spiritually, especially when you've been a religious zealot, afraid of everything. If you feel the stirring, if you feel something is burning, if your gifts have been calling you quietly but consistently, this is your year to become the one. So affirm with me, I honor the wisdom of the womb that formed me and the courage of the one I am becoming. Say it with me. I honor the wisdom of the womb that formed me and the courage of the one that I am becoming. I lead from source, not ego. I move in alignment, not urgency. What is encoded in me unfolds right in the right time, and my life bears witness to truth. Of course, I'm going to post this in the portal for those of you who are there. Becoming the one, your spiritual gifts are calling you to expansion. We're going to spend this year more on the spiritual gifts part. because too many of us have been trained to minimize what God encoded us with through religion, through being a good girl, through being a bad boy, through whatever the alternate personalities we've taken on have caused. Some of you are clairvoyant, you see. Some of you are clairaudient, you hear. Some of you are clairsentient, you feel truth in your body. Some of you are claircognate, get this cognate, you simply know without explanation. Some of you have all of the clairs, and because no one taught you how to take care of the gift, it's covered over. We're going to do a lot in monthly sessions, but also in our Rebirth Sunday this year will be our theme. Understand that you have the right to ground in your gifts. It's not just your imagination. The part of you that was told, don't trust that, or that you're too sensitive, you need to toughen up. You've learned to turn the volume down on what was meant to guide you. But hear me, your gifts are not random. They are functional intelligence. Scripture speaks to you. Who did you want to be before life happened to you? Look at your dreams deferred. Before survival, before betrayal, before religion without relationship, before you learn how to perform instead of embody. Your original self. That was you calling and hearing the gifts call you. Many of you have not lost your gifts. You postponed them. Many of you have been reluctant to monetize your gifts because you don't want to be a manipulator of what you've seen in corporate greed and the heavy weight of running businesses. Money has become an issue because we haven't monetized. You can monetize without manipulation. We have shown a colonized business model that says extract, exploit, scale without soul, steal, kill, destroy, and then call it success. Come on now. We have admired people who quote unquote have made it, and you don't know what they did to get it. And this Diddy trial and these other things that are coming out are helping us to let ourselves off the hook with some love and some grace because you had integrity. Melanated people are a people of integrity. That is how Christopher Columbus brought his disease behind on our earth. We treated him. And the lie began. And the erasure of woman. We come from matriarchal societies. Those of you who are Indians, you should study Indian government. And it wasn't even called Indian, by the way. That was a name that they gave that they gave to us. We were indigenous here. Genealogy is an activation process. Genealogy is not just research. Genealogy gives you answers to who you are in terms of lineage, but it tells you some of the stories and the hidden truths in our bloodline too. It's activating. Corporations technically are legally dead entities, and that's why they made you a corporation. By giving us a social security number. That's another conversation, but because many of us not ready for that. And that's why trying to build your life without livelihood using corporate greed models drains the feminine energy. This is why many women are burnt out who are in business and they don't tell anybody. They suffer in silence, and I'll raise my hand. It's me, oh Lord, sometimes in need of a breakthrough. Why? Because you are not a dead entity. And if you're spiritually gifted, you feel everything. Most of the meanest people that y'all consider mean or assume are mean are just self-protected. because they feel so much. Your identity is a living organism. It thrives in rhythm, not burnout. This is why the knowledge of the 13-year calendar, the people who are declaring, I'm not celebrating the new year, because that's a me celebrating the lie. Or what the Gregorian calendar has done. That's another thing we're going to talk about. The 13 moons is a part of indigenous culture, by the way. Our body, our energy, our anointing responds to seasons, not endless grind. It moves with a circadian intelligence, not 24/7 extraction. Do. And here's the good news. We've turned a corner in the collective consciousness. People are waking up. I know on Facebook, y'all don't have these conversations because Facebook has become performative. We're friends with all of the people we knew back when. And sometimes you don't want them to think that you're crazy. But I love me some TikTok because them folks don't care over there. They tell the truth, even if it gets their page taken down. I love being around people who like the truth, talk the truth, and want more of it. It might piss you off, but it will set you free. The old models are collapsing. They cannot live any longer. The leadership of the 10 is why you can't wait on permission, why you cannot wait for institutions to catch up to your spiritual knowing. They're not going to do it. It was never designed to tell you the truth. You're not going to get justice from this institution. You are justice. You cannot wait for approval for systems that benefit from your silence. Knowers. You must lead, not recklessly, not arrogantly, but with the wisdom of the 10 that precedes singularity, because the 10 teaches us community before ego, co-creation before domination, source before self-promotion. The one alone becomes isolation. The one alone is birthed from the 10 of illumination. Your spiritual gifts are calling, beloved, not for a spectacle, but for service, not for manipulation, but for provision, not for exhaustion, but for sustainability. You are here to, not here to mimic dead systems anymore. You are here to model a living truth. This is not rebellion. This is remembrance. And in closing, I will say, affirm this. My spiritual gifts are clear, consecrated, and cooperative with love. I receive and perceive with wisdom, discern with compassion, and serve with integrity. The Spirit flows through me for the good of the whole, and I steward my gifts with maturity and with grace. I thank you so much for receiving this extended top of the year word for us to set the pace for our Rebirth Sunday time together. I invite you to come into community where we expand on this, whatever we are studying, we continue to study and show ourselves approved in sacred containers. I call it the portal. Because you are the portal. You are the church. You are the sanctuary. You are the sacred space. It's time not to just go to the church and get a word. It's time for the living word to be manifested and demonstrated in us and in our families, in our finances, in our feminine. I invite you to the portal. I invite you to monthly sessions. Dip in or dip out in the monthly sessions. I invite you to become a member of the Rebirth International Ministries. It's a ministry without walls. It's consciousness without borders. Because those of us who are awakened, we need sacred, safe places to be different and to explore the calling through our gifts. And so I thank you for, yes, sis, it's time. I thank you for listening. Please share this with someone. If you're in the Zoom, I'm closing out here and coming over there to you. I still have a little bit more to pour for you, just to tell you about some of the changes in the programs, the changes in the delivery, the invitation for you to step up. That's what we're going to talk about. And if you want to come into community with us, the link is in the previous post for those of you on Facebook to join us. I love you. There's nothing you can do about it. We play music over there on the other side, and I can't wait to come in the room with a song, because it is music that keeps me. I am ordained in the energy of music, in the energy of the arts, in the energy of the spoken word. And so what you see here is the sanitized, direct version of us having a whole session in our private area. I love you. There's nothing you can do about it. Connect with me here. The link is in my bio. All of the things. I love you. There's nothing you can do about it. See you on the other side. Ciao.